And it looked like the WNBA has become the laughingstock of all sports, man, because the ticket prices are horrendous. This is a championship game, dog.
If you guys haven't seen the get-in prices for these games, the get-in price for every single game, even Game 7, the get-in price is less than a rand.
When a WNBA Finals game costs as much as a fast food combo, you know something is wrong. We're talking about $25 tickets for the year's biggest series. It's not a typo either. How, therefore, could the most prosperous WNBA season ever result in cheap tickets and empty seats? Should tickets cost $25, would you still attend? Okay, let's discuss this situation as it's crazy. The WNBA has boasted about record attendance, unprecedented growth, and unprecedented momentum throughout the season. The finals and ticket prices have fallen more quickly than a Caitlin Clark fast break without a whistle, but here we are.
Finals will debut. The Las Vegas Aces versus the Phoenix Mercury. And I'm telling you right now, this is probably going to be one of the lowest rated WNBA finals in a mighty long time.
Let's be more precise. The first game of the Las Vegas WNBA Finals. You would assume that the world's entertainment capital would be crowded for this. Not at all. The nose bleeds $30. The lower bowl has 45 seats. Would you like to take a seat directly behind the bench? $90. About $130 is the second row off the court. I've witnessed concerts with more expensive parking. These identical seats were selling for 2 to 3 times as much this year as they did last. About $2,000 was spent on courtside last year. You may purchase one this year for just less than $1,000. If you're feeling fancy, that is, prices behind the basket range from $800 to $900. In all honesty, that's most likely the only area of the arena that is on the verge of selling out. The best part is that these aren't reseller rates. The league and teams are unable to even fill tickets at face value because they are directly from Ticketmaster and SeatGeek.
Now, we know the controversy that led up to this game is pretty much attached to Caitlin's name. That is the Las Vegas Aces actually knocking off Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Well, Caitlin did not play, but we know the referees kind of had a hand in that, we should say, with kind of making sure the Las Vegas Aces was pushed to making it to the finals. Not to mention, we got none other than Dewana Bonner, former Indiana Fever, quit the team herself in the talk and conversation of this WNBA Finals, and more importantly, her significant other, Alyssa Thomas, has found herself in some hot water as well, with not really speaking about the current state.
It's not that basketball isn't popular in Vegas. The Aces have dominated the game. Wilson is performing like a rock star. Real Showtime athletes Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum are up against the Phoenix Mercury, a team that genuinely clawed their way back into the spotlight. Here's the reality, though. Hardcore WNBA fans are the only ones who give a damn. And the league's worst dread is that. Because tickets for Caitlin Clark's performances sold out in a matter of hours. Not even resale seats for the May Fever games were available for less than $200. However, the buzz has vanished once she left the court.
And that is the WNBA ticket prices. Yes, you guys heard me correctly. The ticket prices. So Legion Hoops, they made it their business to tweet about this. Now, I find this to be quite funny, me personally, bro. It says tickets for Game 1 for the WNBA Final between the Aces and Mercury are starting at just $30.
This validates what a lot of people have been saying. This year's excitement surrounding the league wasn't due to expansion or promotion. Caitlin Clark was to blame. She was the focal point. She presented the stats, the sponsors, the supporters, and the headlines. The league is struggling for relevance and has reverted to its previous state in her absence. Depending on your point of view, this is where it either becomes humorous or depressing. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert continues to make statements about how the league is in its best position ever. Why is it less expensive to see your finals than it is to bowl a few frames at the MGM? Man, if it is that strong. The narrative is flawlessly conveyed by the ticket charts. When the matchup was revealed, top-level seats started at about $50. They decreased by 20% in a week. By the time the media began covering it, tickets in the lower bowl were available for less than $60.
Four-time WNBA MVP Asia Wilson can't even get tickets up to $50. Bruh, this is bad. I mean, this is beyond bad. This just tells you the state of this damn league. And I'm here to tell you, oh, this is hella funny. It says the most unwatchable basketball product possible between the two teams left standing, not to decimate it by injury. Kathy Ebert really outdid it herself.
When you consider that the WNBA has been promoting this story of tremendous growth all year, that is a disaster for optics. Nike alliances, brand agreements, and record sales of merchandise. But if no one attends your championship, what good is it all? Naturally, online defenders are already in damage control mode at this point. They say it's in Vegas, though. The struggle for attention is fierce. Yes, but this is the championship game. You won't find $25 seats for the NBA Finals in Vegas one day. Lower bowl tickets costing $45 won't be available. People care, as seen by the thousands they pay. In actuality, the league made a mistake. They placed too much emphasis on social media buzz, and not enough on developing a real fan base. Another thing that no one likes to utter out is this. There are no plot points in this finals clash that would appeal to casual fans. There is no Caitlin Clark for you. There is no Angel Reese for you. You don't have any trash talk or drama that goes viral to keep people interested. It is merely basketball. Additionally, the league has taught fans to worry primarily about controversy and not the game itself, even when the product may be good. To be honest, the Mercury vs. Aces series isn't really compelling. There isn't any rivalry, conflict, or protagonist versus antagonist. Two basketball teams are playing well in front of half-empty stands. Some athletes have even begun to privately acknowledge that there isn't the same level of finals fervor. In contrast, at the beginning of the season, each Caitlin Clark game seemed to be a national occasion. It was crowded at the Fever Games. There were reporters everywhere. Outside, fans were waiting in queue. That energy has vanished. Furthermore, it goes beyond Clark's injuries. The league's treatment of her and her supporters throughout the year is the subject. Fans noticed each time she was reprimanded, ignored, or fouled. Fans stopped watching whenever players made fun of her accomplishments. With the removal of the Caitlin bump, the statistics are rapidly returning to normal. Not to mention how this appears before the CBA talks begin. The players desire greater benefits, larger revenue shares, and higher compensation. That's reasonable, but given that your finals tickets can't even clear $40, how are you going to expect a wage increase? This will serve as ammunition for owners and networks. They're going to say, "Look, you had your best season ever, and fans still didn't show up." It's unfortunate that everyone gets harmed by this. The league, the players, and the supporters. Because poor attendance doesn't only translate into lost income. It implies fewer sponsors, less negotiating power in all upcoming negotiations, and weaker media arrangements. Additionally, Kathy Engelberg is out here holding press conferences as if everything is great, discussing record growth, game expansion, and the league's good state. Fans, meanwhile, aren't even willing to pay $30 for tickets. You cannot have historic audience apathy and claim unprecedented success at the same time. Even worse, the online optics are harsh. Screenshots of the ticket maps displaying hundreds of empty tickets in each section are being shared online. Some mockingly refer to it as the most accessible finals ever. According to some, this season's official whistles are not as loud as the arena's stillness. All of this points to a single, significant problem. The league continues to disregard the true desires of the fans. They desire regularity. They want celebrities to be appropriately promoted. Instead of politics, they want fair officiating and respect for the athletes. Drama or public relations spin, but the WNBA keeps making mistakes in its attempt to strike a balance between fan interaction and image management. They seem to have an allergy to success that comes easily. They never would have imagined the audience that Caitlin Clark brought in, and they handled it like a problem rather than accepting it. Look where we are now. Half-empty arenas, historically cheap ticket prices, and a commissioner acting as though everything was planned are all features of the finals. It is simultaneously depressing and humorous. To be honest, if this continues, a high school gym may host the championships the following year. Let's now discuss how this collapse might have been prevented. Sincerely, Things didn't have to be this horrible. The WNBA had everything it needed for a successful season finale. One of the most talked about athletes in all of sports, a rising fan base, national recognition, and new sponsors. However, they were able to convert that momentum into $30 tickets in some way. In a way, it's nearly impressive. For months, Kathy Angelbert and her team were congratulating themselves as if they had figured out the women's basketball code. Each press conference had the same tone. The figures have increased. The brand is powerful. We're expanding more quickly than before. However, despite all the rhetoric, the product remained unchanged. The same lackluster advertising, same boring broadcast angles, same officiating concerns. They believed that the finals could be won by hype alone. And now they were simply hit in the face with reality. The players themselves are aware of it. AEL Wilson, Sophie Cunningham, and Nafisa Collier have all alternated in criticizing the leadership. And rather than resolving the problems, Angelbert simply continues to organize task forces and hold listening sessions. Another committee, great because more meetings and less action are exactly what every floundering league needs. In actuality, the league is unwilling to confront the one painfully obvious fact. Caitlin Clark was the reason fans attended, not the WNBA. That's the awkward bit that nobody wants to bring up. There wouldn't be any drama, no spark, and no one attracting millions of viewers without her. The season's high point, not the afterglow of the celebration, should be the finals. It's too late now, but the marketing team is rushing to share highlights, advance narratives, and oversaturate social media with hashtags for empowerment. It is not possible to hashtag your way out of vacant seats. And please, this entire cheap ticket spin. They refer to it as ensuring that all fans can see the championships. It's giving the finals a frantic appearance. Selling out and adding additional seats is what accessibility is all about, not lowering costs by 70% because no one is purchasing. Not even ESPN seems enthusiastic. The coverage seems hesitant. The crowd photos are unnatural. The broadcast booth is surrounded by rows of vacant chairs, which detracts from the atmosphere on TV. This finals feels like someone just slapped the brakes, which is surprising for a league that speaks about momentum all the time. The most absurd thing is that they cannot even hold the economy responsible. This is being missed by the same fans that shell out hundreds of dollars for college football games, UFC bouts, or concert tickets. Money isn't the point that IT has to do with interest. It is not a pricing issue if people are unwilling to pay even $30 to watch the finals live. That is a matter of relevance. The WNBA had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to attract new fans. Even when Clark wasn't playing, they only needed to keep them entertained and give them the impression that the league was worthwhile. Instead, they twisted every plot point into off-court turmoil, silenced her defenders, and alienated her fan base. And they're now footing the bill. Literally, you would think that after years of expanding the game, they would realize that development is pointless if players cease participating. Perfection is not what fans are requesting. They are requesting leadership, enthusiasm, and effort. IT does not seem like managing a summer camp. The league cannot continue to act as though nothing is wrong. Let's face it, you can't sell $25 finals tickets in Las Vegas like you're advertising a middle school talent event while tweeting weekly development records. That isn't progress, that's optimism wrapped in panic. Don't get me wrong, Vegas has played a role. The Aces are a fun squad to watch. They have a good home court setup, spectators, and stars. However, you know there's an issue with more than one team when even their finals crowd appears to be half empty. Come on, even though the Mercury lacks Caitlin Clark's star power, this is not a preseason scrimmage. Rather, it is the championship round. For every sport to sell on the big stage, buzz is essential. March Madness, the NBA Finals, and the Super Bowl all seem like events. It seems as though the WNBA Finals were inadvertently arranged to coincide with two pickleball competitions. Not to mention that this was meant to be their year. The league had an easy victory ahead of them because to all the attention Caitlin Clark generated. Increase your marketing efforts, capitalize on excitement, and create an atmosphere that feels like the finals. However, they became indolent instead. They believed that the focus would just continue, as if viewers would watch instinctively out of habit. This isn't how it operates. You must make folks want to care. You must create tension, rivalries, and storylines that compel viewers to declare, "I can't miss this." Rather, the primary plot point is the low cost of the seats. Yes, you can purchase a finals ticket for $25, and it seems like nobody is waiting in queue. Despite the WNBA's claims of expansion, these seats reveal otherwise. Perhaps the league should concentrate more on maintaining fan engagement and less on hashtags. I appreciate you watching. Press the like button.